My name is Jessica Hanna, and today we are going to talk about intersections of universal design, integralism, and collaboration. The first article is UDL in Online Environments, The Why of Learning by Nave in 2020. 3 principles of UDL: engagement, the why; representation, the what; action and expression, the how. Each principle has subsections meant to guide access to learning materials, receive appropriate supports, and deliver necessary executive functions for managing learning. Design options are where principles and subsections intersect. Engagement intersections with access to create checkpoints in design options for welcoming interest and identities, where our personal experiences and current knowledge can link to what we are learning. Where support intersects with engagement, we have checkpoints for design options in sustaining effort and persistence. Frequent timely feedback foster collaboration, interdependence, and collective learning. The intersection of engagement and executive function creates design option for emotional capacity to promote individual and collective reflection. The Tobin method of the +1 approach is recommended by Nave. Try once, see if it works, and try again. Universal Integralism, Ken Wilber's Integral Method in Context, written by Sater in 2009. Ken Wilber's integral method is a framework to categorize knowledge and information. It is often referred to in short as the acronym AQAL, A-Q-A-L, all quadrants, all levels. Each quadrant represents either an interior subjective aspect or an exterior objective aspect of self from the singular to the collective plural groups. It is often talked about in the first, second, and third person, the I, we, and it, its. Wilber is including multiple views and interpretations and contexts of situations, concepts, and problems that can be social, emotional, cultural, or even spiritual, to involve cognitive flexibility, the shifting between different perspectives, empathy, understanding how others might see things, and critical thinking, evaluate diverse viewpoints for the form of more holistic understanding. The UDL principles of representation intersect with integralism, where the design options meet to integrally access perceptions from multiple perspectives, receive appropriate support to understand and address biases in use of language and symbols, and cultivate the understanding across the perspective, building knowledge from these languages and symbols. The actual praxis of integral transformative practice utilizing the UDL guidelines intersections of principles and subsections of access, support, and executive function, specifically in the principle of representation, looks like the multiple perspectives of I, we, it, its, experiencing perception, reflecting on the multiple language and symbols, and then taking action to build knowledge from the perspectives until one transcends and includes the information and knowledge. And that brings us to Tuckman's developmental sequences in small groups, originally published in 1965, revised in 1977, and republished in 2001. The developmental stages is based on 50 articles regarding groups consisting of task-oriented groups, laboratory performances, natural groups, and the majority being therapy group studies. The analysis of these studies resulted in the 5 stages of group development published in revision in 1977 and again in 2001. Tuckman found that in the forming stage, group participants were orienting themselves to the new arrangement. The second stage of development, known as storming, found that individuals are resistant to the task at hand and the influence of the group itself. The structure of this stage is known as intra-group conflict, but this is primarily from therapeutic group situations. From here, the group becomes more authentic and communicative, more openly, and other members develop cohesiveness, identifies with new roles and standards. This stage is known as norming. Norming leads to the group into developmental stage of performing. The group is actively productive, working towards the product, task, or goal in a more flexible and functional structure where performance is supported once the task is complete, and the group can adjourn and disband. Tuckman describes the group structure as being that of separation anxiety and the point where self-evaluation occurs. Could this anxiety be predicated on the therapeutic nature of the majority of the groups who experience storming? Do individuals without traumatic experience or who have healthy coping mechanisms storm and then experience separation anxiety at adjourning? Or do those same individuals find ways to norm in the forming process and experience exaltation at the completion of the project and the adjourning, or as the group embarks upon newness? I propose that by utilizing UDL's principles of action expression, sets the tone to minimize storming in the forming stage by optimizing access to the information with full and total transparency when delivered to each perspective of the I, we, its that interact during the forming stage. That support the open communication and expression provides psychological safety, allowing for biases to be addressed during formation stage and norms to be built into the forming process, thus minimizing storming. That the strategy development of executive function preemptively sets goals and orients groups' roles to enhance progress to productivity, minimize resistance and negative influence, encouraging authentic communication, allowing for productive performance, and finally, allowing the engagement to end on a positive note with the ability to network in the future with other group members for projects. This concludes my presentation of these three intersected articles of UDL, integralism, and collaboration. I want to thank you for watching and listening to me today, and have a wonderful week.